a man went to the market and paid for a particular pet. Maybe it's a cat, maybe it's a dog, maybe it's a monkey. This man paid for this pet and brought it home as his own and began to take responsibility of this pet. The man began to find this pet food according to time schedule, maybe 3 times in a day. The man began to find this pet shelter, apartment. He began to take all responsibility of this pet as his property. And then a day comes that this pet suddenly begin to claim ownership of this man who paid for him. A day came, this pet begin to claim, I now owns this man who paid and brought me in my house. And so a day came that this man says, I have to go and pay and brought more pets in my home and start taking responsibility of more pets. The pet is now shouting, I can't share my man. I can't share my man in this house. This man cannot bring much more pets here. What this man will discover is that either this pet is fundamentally drugged on alcohol or this pet has mental issue. We need to find a veterinary to shake this pet, to make this pet to understand that I own you and not you who own me in this house. Such is the case of a man who went and paid bride price of a lady. Bride price in Africa is a symbolic transfer of ownership. And so this man paid for the bride price of this lady, brought her home as his property, as his own. I now own a wife. Because that bride price you paid has given you the power of ownership. You now own the woman and administer the woman. And all of a sudden a day came, the woman began to shout, I now own you, sir. I own you. You are now my property. You will think the woman is joking. You will now say it's time for me to go and pay and bring another woman as a man that belongs to the society, not being owned by somebody I paid her bride price. It's time to go and bring another woman. The woman is now shouting, I can't share my man. The first question to ask this idiot woman is, how did a man become your man? How did a man become your property? How did you begin to own a husband? Because to own something, number one, a price must be paid. The principle of ownership is that a price must be paid to own the man. So at what point did you pay the groom price of this man? At what point did you begin to take responsibility? What gave you the transfer of ownership of a husband? The woman doesn't have anything. What the man will understand is that either this woman is fundamentally drugged on alcohol or cocaine, or either this woman is having mental retardation. So what the man will do is that the man will shake the woman very, very well. The day the wife begin to say, I can't share my husband, or a husband belongs to me, the man have to discipline the woman to an extent that the woman will come into understanding her boundaries in the compound of a man who went and paid her bride price. Because when Christianity entered Africa, the first thing the Christianity does is it targeted our family units. Want to violently rewire our women, reconfigure our women against our men for the purpose of destroying the basic units of our family system. And so what they did is that they went and rewired our women which we own, our women which are under our administration, so that they will now start to fight their owner. They will now begin to fight against the person who paid and brought them home as their Lord and personal Savior. This has resulted to a lot of divorced family system. A lot of evil going on in our home today is because of somebody coming to truncate the pathway of ownership. Because until ownership is established in every setting, there can be leadership. Leadership begins to find expression when ownership has been defined. For instance, if a mother gives birth to a child, and then the mother gives birth to a child, we all understand that a mother owns the child he gave birth to. The mother finds the child food. The mother takes responsibility of the child. The mother is very, very find the child shelter and everything. Imagine the child suddenly begin to claim ownership of the mother. The child now begin to say, I own my mother. And because I own my mother, the mother now says, let me even go and give birth to another child. The mother now says, the little child says, no, sir, you can't give birth to another child. I can't share my mother. What the mother will discover is that the child is fundamentally drugged, or the child have a grieving intention of destroying the motherhood. Because one and only child only terrorize the mother, the same way one and only wife terrorize the husband. The reason why the woman is fighting to be the only woman in the house is so that she can exert her externalize feminine power against you to destroy your leadership and make sure you lack your inner peace of mind. Because the highest assignment the colonialists give our wife is to move in the house of our men and fight our men to death. And so a man who has a fight to fight in his house automatically can no longer even fight outside the war. Because the highest fight a species cannot survive is intra-species fight. No monkey can survive fighting a monkey. No lion can survive fighting a lion. No antelope can survive fighting an antelope. And so when a man, an African man, have a fight with his wife inside the room, automatically anything can kill the man outside. So the white man pushed our wife to go in and fight our men in a place our ancestors established leadership. Leadership has been destroyed because the man himself has been destroyed by the society. The man now begin to go and play love with something he owns. You know, anytime a woman calls a man sweetheart, honey, my soulmate, and all such romantic names, you will think it is love. No. What the woman was trying to do is to deactivate your power of ownership. Because the power of ownership is in the respect of accepting that you own me, you are my master, and there is no worker who calls the CEO sweetheart. Imagine a CEO who employed a worker in his office. If the CEO begin to go and do honey, sweetheart, baby, with the worker he employed, you will discover the worker will begin to feel entitled. The worker will begin to feel that he now owns the CEO. A day will come when the CEO want to employ another worker and the worker will say, no, if we employ another worker, I will go. Because what they are doing is now beyond the base of a master-servant relationship. What they have established is the emotional reaction that gave the worker empowerment to manipulate the CEO. And such CEO knows that the company is already running down. Because that which was supposed to establish leadership has been destroyed with love. So love is an emotional weapon of a woman to destroy a man. You that is listening to me this afternoon, your life destruction began the day you begin to fall in love with a woman. Because a woman, your ancestors understand as a young tendrils that must be gathered in the pathways of a man to find. That's why our ancestors says that dibugunwani, which means a woman without a husband is like an uncompleted building. So it's a pathways of establishing ownership. Instead of you to call your wife by her name, you now begin to call sweetheart. That's your origin of your death. As you finish watching this video, begin to call your wife by her name. Chidema, Amaka, Uju, Ifeyinwa. Call her by her name. And as you are calling her by her name, just like in the CEO company, she will not have she will never have the confidence to call you by your name. She'll be calling you Nai. At that point, the boundary of establishing leadership has been established. And then you now discover that a man is like an electron. A woman is a proton in the nucleus. If you watch the electron and the proton in the nucleus, you discover electron is never a companion of the neutron, of a proton. No. Electron is always moving around, but the proton is fixed. A woman is fixed. A man oscillates like an electron. And so the man has the freedom to pick as many wives as he is in the society, to be able to put that form, to be able to free the man from the selfishness of the woman. Because a man is generous in nature, a woman is selfish by design. And the reason a woman is selfish by design is because selfishness is supposed to take care and preserve the home. If a woman becomes as generous as a man, the family is going to suffer. And if a man becomes as generous as selfish as a woman, the family is going to suffer. So we need the selfishness of the woman and the generosity of the man to form a family. And so how do we build this? We have to find the woman, much more selfish woman around the home. So her selfishness can find other selfish beings to compete with. You will now decide to go inside the home and compete with a woman, you that was designed to be generous. You discover the selfishness of the woman will grip you and begin to shrink you to death. Because selfishness will always swallow magnanimity. That's why the Christians told you that 1 + 1 is equal to 1 in marriage. When 1 + 1 becomes 1, it simply means one person has been killed. So in monogamous setting, a man has been killed before the marriage began. It's time again to establish ownership in our family. It's time again to establish ownership and leadership. At what point did what you paid for begin to own you? When a woman says, it's my man, it's my husband, I can't share, such a woman is supposed to be shaked. A man doesn't belong to a woman. A man belongs to the society. It is the man who owns a woman. A woman belongs to the man. Until this is defined in your family setting, you discover you have no peace. It's time again to restructure our family system, which was violated by the Western culture. Follow me in this African Renaissance. African Renaissance, at the base of it is our culture, which is our family unit. Gender segregation. Separate for me Paul and Barnabas, 2 criminals. This one is separate for me man and women, our basic unit of the family. Separate them so that we can do wood for the things of wood, gold for the things of gold, and iron for the things of iron. We value and our respect for our women. The respect we have for women in our culture is in not respecting a man without a wife. A man without a wife, there are meetings he cannot attend. So the assignment is to make sure all women are married off in polygamy, because a society that have unmarried ladies is a society that is the whole man there is a danger. when men went in every community and shared land among themselves without giving women portion of the land. And these men are now waiting to be begged before they will marry women. This man finished sharing land among themselves and came out to preach against polygamy. What that people are creating is that they began a war that will destroy them. Because those women that were devastated of land, they never collected land, and you're now denying them husband. You deliberately want to create problem in the home. Things are not prayed for. Things are built. Morality is not preached. The foundation of morality is built. When somebody have to teach our ladies to abstain from prostitution today, it's because somebody have destroyed the foundation of the family system that makes a man, that makes every woman to be assured of husband. When people need to go to church to pray for a husband, it's simply because the foundation of getting a husband has been destroyed. Christianity is about destroying the foundation of morality and then begin to preach that thing, create problem, and make yourself relevant by solving the problem. All motivational speakers today that are advising our guests on how to live a moral life without a husband is a man or a woman who is teaching a fish how to survive without outside the river. Return back to culture where husband is surplus. Return back to culture where there is peace in the family land. Return back to culture where we can now take care of, build men who will defend our land. Because a man who is doing sweethearts and honey cannot fight. The man already have war in his own home. Then join me in this African Renaissance. Polygamy is our culture. That's why if you join my WhatsApp group, if I tissue you, if you see a woman, you will now understand the weight of things are looking at you. Because a man was built to protect and defend his society and not to fight for a woman. Thank you so much. African Renaissance, restoring, reviving African man into his lost ways of life. Thank you. Not for here, we go 15 minutes.